point in time,
Let's go, bro.
we're about to
Game
figure out
pertama
how
antara
both
Cina
of these
melawan
teams are
Mongolia.
gonna utilize these
Kita lihat aja
skills
guys ya.
to get
Ini
it
perdana sih guys
through.
gue
You're
lihat
seeing Vermouth,
ladies Cina ya.
Jessica,
Nah,
Fanhua,
ini apa ini guys?
Yinhuai, and
Sekelas ASEAN
Showcase on
ngelek
the other side for China. But then on the other side, you have Nika, Non-AXN, Zulana, Mob Psycho, and Deja Vu representing Mongolia. Both of these teams still undefeated, and they are looking forward to getting a win here.
Mongolia currently on 2 wins already, so a victory here would almost guarantee that they make it all the way to the knockouts. So we can already see a little bit of harassment going on early here. China has the advantage at EXP lane priority, but Mongolia has gold lane priority. So the jungler is shifting towards the bottom side of the map. Is going to be interesting.
Yeah, they're just, slowly getting most of the objectives. Not really a lot of activity happening. EXP lane trying to at least showcase themselves to one another, given the rotation that they're both planning to do. I'm curious to see who is going to go first towards that gold lane matchup to try to give a possible impact there, because I feel like Mob Psycho has the advantage. So with that, Fanhua going to the bot lane, just making sure that Yinhuai here is going to have a pretty decent or good time upon getting those minion waves, just because the threat of Mongolia in attacking him has been evaded.
I think it makes more sense for China to focus a bit more towards the EXP lane though, because even with some help, it's going to be hard for the Moscow to get the kill on Bruno. So assisting Hilda in really messing with Hylos to unlock your EXP laner from the lane as early as possible may bring more benefit to them.
Now they're going to try to go ahead and unleash most of the damage outputs here, so that they will be able to take care of business. Turtle already cut into half health here, but it seems like that's going to be safely secured unless...
Jago banget. Lah, apa ini?
Whoa, hold on a second.
Lah, kagak guys. Aduh.
There were a lot of people surrounding the alpha as well, so at some point in time, they were able to take advantage of it, and not only that, also get the turtle in the process. So it's Non-AXN already at level 6, but when you take a look at that Showcase, he's somewhat already there as well. But yeah, still a stalemate, not a lot of kills happening here, except for the fact that everybody's trying to surround that bot lane.
Yeah, this bot lane gonna be important. They already scout out Non-AXN in the brush. He has to use the Spear of Alpha to get away. We see Chokis in the back line, gonna be scouted out by Zulana and gonna back away before Nika's able to catch them as well. Unfortunately, China not gonna be able to make an attempt down here. Sacred Hammer into the implosion, onto the Khalid, Raging Sandstorm. Will they be able to get him out in time? No, Spear of Alpha connects. First blood over to Non-AXN on the Mongolia team.
Good presence of mind coming in from Nika. She probably knows that China's not gonna try to force a team fight when they want to, just because they're waiting for the Moskov. So for Nika, in her perspective, she was like, let's just take something so that we have an advantage. Just utilizing that push and the extra implosion play onto one, so that even though it was Fanhua, right? Even though it was the roamer of China here, it's something that they were very much willing to take, as long as the kill goes to Non-AXN, to also propel him a little bit further than Showcase here upon getting those objectives and getting her items here.
It's definitely worth it, because it means that Fanhua isn't really able to open the map anymore. Nika gonna get hit by the Eternal Guard, gonna Sacred Hammer Fanhua back into the rest of the team. Raging Sandstorm lands in back line, but gonna get cut off at Glorious Pathway. And because of that, Non-AXN immediately gets a free kill. That's the second death for the Khalid.
What you were saying a while ago is finally coming into life. The Khalid somewhat already struggling to find his position here in the composition of Mongolia, and now it might be Jessica's turn to go after that. But because of it, right, the Fanhua in China is struggling to get the information that's needed for them to make their rotations. They're somewhat reacting to what Mongolia is doing here, looking or just looking for a way to actually strike. But as soon as Fanhua sees one or two members, they can't do anything about it. But this is a good sign. Showcase and the kill goes to Yinhuai of China.
Yeah. China, I don't know about this draft a bit. It can definitely work, but requires proactiveness. The same thing that we saw from Indonesia earlier, where you invade and don't give your opponent a chance to leave. Hilda and Khalid, heroes that are very powerful early, fall off very quickly as well. So the later game goes, the longer wait, the more dangerous it's going to become.
Only difference from that Indonesia game to this China-Mongolia game is that Yin Huai
Nika.
is having a really good time compared
Woi.
to Paris a while ago where there is
Ulti
a lot
angin
of room.
beliau,
Look at
guys.
this.
Buset, langsung dapat 3 gak lu?
Raging Stab comes in, hits 3 people, but he's inside halfway. Fanwa's already gone.
Wah,
Brown
Jessica.
gets sniped in the back line. Shows a bit too late to the party. Jessica just able to run away. Mongolia are forming a massive F-ball now.
That was a good positioning coming in from Zolana. She was able to stay away from the damage dealers of China, while also the damage is the reason why she was able to land on it. The only problem was Javu was right there. Jessica was pushed, but she is going to be able to escape that one. It was just a matter of fact as to how Mongolia is going to be able to use most of their skills. And they were able to use it just because Yin Huai was too busy trying to farm up most of her minion waves and objectives. So this is a really good chance for Mongolia to assert their dominance as early as possible, while Yin Huai hasn't really gotten her items just yet.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they're doing as well, Hans. The dominance that Mongolia
tengahnya-
showing.
tengahnya
Flickering
boy.
Sandstorm. I'm not sure if it
Zulana
landed. Looks like
mati.
it did. Zulana gonna get picked off in the mid lane.
kesorot,
Eternal
bro.
Guard onto Nika, scouting him out. Not gonna allow him to get a free implosion. A good blade surge, but now Glorious Pathway stopping them
Nika.
all in their tracks. An implosion gonna find two
stoknya
with
mati.
Sacred Hammer. Knock up Chokis. Already down.
Nona
Fanwa
Sin-
gonna be
Nona
comboed
Sin Davis,
alongside him.
nice.
Naxxon
Gila,
jumps on the
Yin Huai.
Yin but he gets traded. Killing spree over to Yin Huai on the Moskov. While Jessica
guys,
takes this down and
Fotonya
1v1
dibiarin, bro.
Psycho. China coming out on top.
Love the positioning coming in from Jessica there. Just, not really giving up on the play. She understood that 2 of her teammates are actually down already just because of that implosion play. That was also well played coming in from Nika. The only problem was that most of the damage dealers coming in from Mongolia were already at low HP, so they couldn't really assist or do the follow-up damage that would be necessary for Mongolia to take control of this game. And because of it, knowing that Jessica has that passive already, she went past those bushes in the river while waiting for at least 1 second or 2, and then all of a sudden just landing those hammer shots towards her opponents who are already at low HP. And now China having an advantage and propelling themselves even further away from Mongolia.
Yeah, the way you play around a front-to-back composition is to scatter their lines, and China was able to off-tempo that previous team fight, so that Mongolia wasn't quite grouped up in the position they wanted before it actually started. Even though Nika tried to re-engage and got a pretty good catch-up, at that point they'd already lost most of their damage with Mob Psycho being chased down by Jessica, so because of that, China were able to outlast them.
And so far, already almost at least a 2K gold lead here.
Yeah, the classic front-to-back composition is always going to be the most reliable style of gameplay. But just like you mentioned, it also means that you know exactly what they want to play with. So while China has a slightly more difficult composition to play, if they're able to catch people out 1 by 1, they hold the advantage. Just like right now, Raging Sandstorm used on the 3-man implosion by Nika. Yin Huai able to purify out. Fanwa gonna flicker out as well. But they've lost Chokis. Meanwhile, in the backline, Jessica looking for no Naxxon. Gets the final hit. Killing spree for the Hilda, but will trade a shutdown over the Mob Psycho.
You see what Jessica was doing there, right? It would have been a story if Jessica wasn't there in terms of that team fight, because it was a bit of a sandwich method with Jessica as the top bread and then the other 4 members as the bottom bread, and then Nika just went on using that implosion, catching 3 to 4 heroes with that implosion as well. But there was one hero that was missing, and that time it was Jessica. Jessica was too much of the too much of a threat that Mongolia just chose to, you know, focus on bringing Jessica down rather than continuing the team fight, because they know that Jessica is going to be targeting the
kena sih.
squishy or the low HP members coming in from
Baru bocor
Mongolia.
sih, guys.
We are at the stalemate once again, Staffa.
Yeah, but I think both teams at this point are definitely realizing that there needs to be more respect in positioning. Lord gonna knock up the Suyo. Chokes has to dash back away. Jessica buying a lot of time in the back line.
Yeah,
Nika not able to get the implosion out. Deja Vu gonna be traded over right now as non-Axon takes the Lord, but they've already lost 2 teammates. The rest of Mongolia, only 3 players standing, now have to make a hasty retreat.
Yeah, great sacrifice still coming in from Deja Vu and Nika. Deja Vu trying to find more ways to put the pressure on Chokes in this one, and she was able to do that because Chokes using that second skill to be able to get away in certain situations before the fight even started. The Holy Defense has already been utilized here, but the Lord is where it's gonna matter. At least the Holy Defense was gone now. Now they have to just worry about this major objective, and I feel like they should worry about it a little less because it's less than 12 minutes also, so it's not going to be an Evolved Lord just yet. But still, if you're Mongolia, you're going to be happy with this trade because you got a major objective on your side.
Yeah, the first Lord usually isn't going to be able to do too much damage on the map, but because China still has so many towers standing in comparison to Mongolia, any structural damage they're able to do right now will be huge. Glorious Pathway comes out, but the beautiful Spear of Misery, Zulana almost drops, and with all of that, Raging Sandstorm comes in, knocks up 3, we're gonna pop it past him, no Naxon already caught out, Pretty Glacier a bit too late to save him. Meanwhile, Jessica in the back line, Zulana's got Nika, unstoppable streak, 4-year wide. 5-0-6 on the Moscow. 3 members of Mongolia are dead. Chokes chasing down Deja Vu with Jessica, finding Mob Psycho in the rush as well, just keeping him in place, while the rest of China go for the push down mid lane.
They're not even letting Mob Psycho go home, and they're right there at the base of the enemy.
Yup, they knew it, they planned it. Jessica just being a pain in their side
Cina guys ya,
until
counter
the
setupnya
end.
ngeri cok.
As China
Mahal guys ya.
Mongolia in our third group
Oke lah guys, kita lanjut ke match selanjutnya ya.